I tie the last pink balloon to the fence post and take a step back to admire what I've pulled together. The backyard looks like something out of a dream, if I do say so myself. 9 perfectly arranged place settings circle the picnic table, each topped with a folded napkin shaped into a tiny crown. The bounce house, a $275 luxury my credit card will remind me of later, stands tall and waiting, its princess turrets glinting under the October sun. On the dessert table, the pixel princess cake from Mila's favorite video game waits proudly, 9 candles standing straight like little soldiers. Perfect, I whisper to no one. Because no one's here to hear it. I glance at my watch again, 3rd time in 5 minutes. 11:42. Mom and my sisters promised they'd come early to help set up, promised. But like every other promise they've made, that one vanished with the morning mist. The sliding glass door creaks behind me, and Mila bursts into the yard, spinning in her brand new birthday dress. Purple. Her royal color, she calls it. Sparkles as she twirls. Mom. Is it time? Is it time? She giggles, bouncing on her toes, then suddenly freezes. Her eyes sweep the empty yard, searching for familiar faces that aren't there. Where's Grandma? And Aunt Savannah and Aunt Lacey? Are they bringing Tyler? Did they see the bounce house yet? I force a brightness into my voice that I don't feel. They're on their way, sweetheart. Probably just running a little late. Her face falls for a second before she builds her smile back up. Fragile but brave. Okay, I'm gonna watch from the window, she chirps, and dashes back inside. I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste copper. I should have known better, known they wouldn't show up on time. Maybe not at all. The doorbell jars me out of my thoughts. I've got it, Mila shouts, racing down the hall before I can stop her. A moment later, I hear Aunt Carol's familiar warmth fill the entryway. Hello, sunshine. Is your mom home? She steps into the kitchen, arms burdened with a casserole dish. Her gaze sharpens when she catches sight of my expression. What happened? She asks, setting the food on the counter. My mother's voice cuts through the wood. I step back as the pounding begins. Is that Grandma? Mila whispers. Yes, sweetheart, I say calmly. But she forgot to call first. It's too late for visitors tonight. The banging grows louder. The bell rings over and over. You can't hide in there forever, Savannah yells. After everything we've done for you. My phone lights with messages. You're betraying this family. How dare you embarrass us with the hotel? What kind of daughter does this? Through the peephole, I spot Mr. Patterson from across the street crossing his arms on his porch. The Rodriguezes peek through their blinds. My family has become a spectacle, yet for once, I'm not rushing to fix it. Should we let them in? Mila whispers, clutching my leg. No, honey. Remember what we said about people respecting our home? This isn't respect. Then the flash of red and blue fills the room. Of course, they called the police. When I open the door, Officer Thompson stands there, Mila's old soccer coach. Evening, Ms. Allen, he says gently. We got a call about a family dispute. Something about withheld property? Behind him, Mom bristles like a peacock. She's refusing to return what belongs to our family, she declares. And she sent threatening messages. Mila grips the back of my sweater, her stuffed rabbit crushed against her chest. May I come in? The officer asks quietly. At the kitchen table, I show him everything. Texts, emails, receipts, the $1 payment. I've supported them financially for years, I explain. I changed my locks today because I'm setting boundaries. There are no heirlooms, no threats, just me finally saying no. He scrolls through the evidence, eyebrows lifting now and then. They're used to you fixing everything, he says finally. Change is hard for people like that. He steps back outside. I watch from the window as he speaks to them. Their postures deflate, certainty draining away. Within minutes, they're gone. Mom's finger stabbing the air before she drives off. After double-checking the locks, I find Mila sitting on her bed, legs dangling. Mom, she whispers, am I not important enough? Is that why Grandma and my aunts didn't come? The question steals my breath. I kneel, take her small hands. No, sweetheart. You're the most important person in the world. That's why I have to protect us from people who don't treat us right. My phone buzzes again. You'll regret this. Family is everything. Delete. Chin as she giggles about beating me at horse. Her laughter is unguarded, unforced. So different from the tight smiles she used to wear around my family, forever performing for approval that never came. A woman at the next table smiles. Want me to take your picture? I hesitate, then hand her my phone. She snaps it mid-laugh, Mila's cheeks sticky, my eyes crinkled, both of us glowing with something raw and real. When she hands it back, I study the photo. It's messy, imperfect, and perfect. Nothing like those sterile Christmas portraits my mother orchestrates, where everyone's smiles are strained and seats are strategically assigned. I like this better than a fancy party, Mila declares, spoon diving back into melting ice cream. So do I whisper. And I mean it. That night, as I'm drying dishes, my phone pings. A text from Aunt Carol. You dodged a bullet. My brow furrows. Then another message. Sweet 16 disaster. Complete train wreck. I sink into a chair, torn between curiosity and a flicker of wicked satisfaction. Before I can reply, the phone rings. Carol? Where do I even start? She laughs. They seated your mother next to the smoke machine. You know how her asthma is. She spent half the night coughing and complaining, made sure everyone knew about it. Of course she did. I can see it. The dramatic hand waves, the martyr expression. And Savannah? Carol continues. She fought with the DJ over every song. The poor guy looked ready to pull the plug. Then, lowering her voice. And when the bill came, oh Miah, Eleanor's face went white as that fancy tablecloth. Suddenly, no one could make eye contact. I twist the dish towel around my finger. How bad was it? Let's just say they went way over budget, without your platinum sponsorship. They kept glancing at your empty chair like they were waiting for your wallet to show up. A guilty smile threatens to escape, but Carol cuts in firmly. It's not misfortune when you build a party on someone else's bank account, she says. It's consequence. The next morning, I'm at work, sorting through spreadsheets when a shadow falls across my desk. I look up, and my heart lurches. My mother, dressed in her Sunday best, standing in the middle of my office. We need to talk, she says loudly enough for my coworkers to look up. My stomach knots, but I force calm into my voice. Mom, this isn't appropriate. I'm working. She sets her purse right on top of my documents, staking her claim. Family comes first. I stand and guide her gently toward the break room. 10 minutes, I whisper. Inside, she begins her speech, smooth, rehearsed, dripping with borrowed righteousness. I recognize pieces of Pastor Wallace's sermon stitched between her words, dressed up as love, but heavy with guilt. Speaking of Pastor Wallace, my mother begins, adjusting her pearl earrings like armor. He called after service today. He's concerned about our family division, said reconciliation is God's way. I stare down at my lukewarm coffee, swirling it slowly. Did you tell him why we're divided? She waves a manicured hand dismissively. Details don't matter when family's involved. They matter to me, I murmur, but she doesn't hear or doesn't want to. That evening, when I open my mailbox, there's an envelope waiting. No return address. Inside, a single handwritten note. Children need their grandmother. Think about what you're doing to Mila. The paper trembles slightly between my fingers. The next day, Savannah's husband calls. His tone is pleading, weary. Just give them what they want, Miah. Peace is worth the money. Peace, I think. Or silence bought at my expense. Then comes the Thanksgiving invitation. Cream cardstock, gold embossed edges, expensive as always. At the bottom, a handwritten add-on. Water under the bridge, if you contribute $750 for the venue. I set it on the counter beside Mila's latest school photo. Her smile is radiant these days, brighter, freer. That night, after tucking her in, I sit at the kitchen table holding an old family photo. Christmas 7 years ago. Dad's still there, smiling tightly. Back then, Mom hadn't yet decided I'd inherited his financial duties. I remember the argument 10 minutes after that picture was taken. Dad questioning a credit card bill, Mom storming off. My phone lies beside me, her contact glowing. One tap would reopen that door. One call could fix everything. One check. One more withdrawal. One more promise to Mila. I'd have to break when their next crisis arrived. Her small voice echoes in my memory. Am I not important enough? I slide the photo of the old family into a drawer and replace it with Mila's picture. The girl with a confident grin who deserves better than the life I had. The next morning, I begin a letter. Not emotional, factual, precise, a record. Every loan, every missed event, every broken promise, each date, each amount, terms for contact, boundaries with consequences, written in language even Savannah couldn't twist. I make copies, one for Mom, one for each sister, one for Pastor Wallace, with a polite cover note explaining the financial support he'd unknowingly encouraged. The last line takes me 3 tries to write. This isn't about money. It's about respect. I sign them, seal them, send each by certified mail. 2 days later, a small envelope arrives addressed to Mila. The return address says Bethany Thompson, a classmate who'd missed her birthday party. Mila tears it open at the table, eyes going wide at the glitter-covered card inside. Sorry I couldn't come. Happy 9th birthday, she reads aloud, smiling. Then she tilts the card, and 3 $1 bills flutter out. A small note follows, for ice cream. I'm saving for a bike, but wanted you to have this. Mila holds the bills like treasure. Mom, can we get ice cream tomorrow? Of course we can. She straightens the card on the fridge. Once, twice, 3 times, until it's perfectly aligned. This is the best card ever, she declares, skipping toward her room, money clutched in her fist. $3, from a child saving for a bike. Worth more than every hollow promise my family ever gave me. That evening, the phone rings. Grandma's number. I almost let it go to voicemail. Almost. Miah, you need to fix this, she says without preamble. Your mother and sisters have been fighting since that letter arrived. About what? What else? Money. Your mother says Savannah pushed too hard with that Sweet 16 mess. Savannah says Lacey promised you'd cover more than your share. Now they're all blaming each other for driving you away. I close my eyes. Pressure builds behind them. The old reflex to mediate, to fix, to absorb, rises like a tide. But I push it back. I'm not responsible for repairing adult relationships, I say quietly. But you've always been the sensible one, Grandma insists. Yes, I whisper, watching Mila through her doorway, setting her stuffed animals up for a tea party. That's why I'm making a different choice now. 2 months later, I'm balancing on a wobbly stepladder, roller in hand. Soft yellow paint brightens the living room walls. The sunlight catches the color. It looks like warmth itself. Mom, you missed a spot, Mila calls, pointing to a patch near the ceiling. Her purple t-shirt is freckled with yellow dots. Got it, eagle eyes. I stretch higher, smoothing the stubborn white square. What do you think? Better than the old beige? Way better, she says seriously, painting the baseboards with surgeon-like precision. It's like sunshine inside. The front door opens. James from work pokes his head in, carrying a bookshelf under one arm like it's made of cardboard. Special delivery, he grins. Where do you ladies want this? By the window, I say, climbing down. You didn't have to build it yourself, I add. He shrugs. What else would I do on weekends? Watch golf? His laugh fills the little house, a sound that used to make me tense, half expecting my mother's disapproving voice in my head. Now, I just smile. We position the oak shelf so sunlight kisses the top. Later, Mila arranges her books by color while I admire the neat lines and cheerful mess of our new home. The calendar on the fridge catches my eye. movie night scrawled in Mila's handwriting for Friday. Park day for Sunday. No family obligations. No urgent transfers, just life. The tension I carried for years, I think, is finally gone. Mrs. Wilson called, Mila says, carefully placing her Harry Potter books on the middle shelf. She wants to know if I can come over tomorrow for knitting lessons. Do you want to go? Mila nods, eyes bright. She says I have natural talent. Then absolutely. I tuck a loose strand of hair behind her ear, smudging yellow paint on her cheek. She giggles and dabs my nose with her paintbrush. Now we match. 2 weeks later, Mila stands in front of her third grade class, holding a poster titled My Hero. Her teacher, Mrs. Langston, had emailed about the project, but nothing prepared me for the lump in my throat when I saw it. 2 stick figures holding hands beneath a crayon sunset. Above them, in neat letters, my mom taught me that love doesn't hurt. That evening, a note from Mrs. Langston arrives. Mila seems so much more confident these days. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I place it on the fridge beside Mila's drawing, held by a sunflower magnet. Christmas comes. Cards pile up, including one in my mother's handwriting. Families should be together for the holidays. We've all made mistakes. Savannah's text follows. I miss my niece. Tyler asks about her. Then Lacey's email, family healing retreat in Arizona, $2,300 per person. I snort coffee through my nose. I read each message twice, waiting for the familiar sting of guilt. It doesn't come. Just quiet clarity as I type one response, sent to all 3. We've moved forward. I wish you well. Our Christmas tree stands 4 feet tall in the corner, dressed in popcorn strings and school-made ornaments. The gifts beneath it aren't fancy. A sketchbook, colored pencils, a second-hand telescope, but each is wrapped with care, every tag written in my best cursive. Mrs. Wilson brings apple cider. James arrives with a casserole heavy on cheese. Aunt Carol drives 3 hours to join us, arms full of cookies and hugs that feel real. I brought something else, Carol says, handing me a leather-bound album. The first page reads, in her elegant script, Our family of 2. It's beautiful, I whisper, tracing the gold embossing. Room to grow, she says softly, nodding toward our guests laughing in the kitchen. January brings a support group for single parents. February, volunteer days at Mila's school. Uncle Robert sends postcards from his travels, each with a line of encouragement in his rough handwriting. Brick by careful brick, we're building something solid. By the time October returns, with Mila turning 10, I plan her party. A picnic in the park, a homemade cake, friends who actually show up. In the mail comes a card from my mother. Inside, a crisp $50 bill, no conditions attached. Just happy birthday, granddaughter. The handwriting wobbles with age. I think about returning it, then slip it into Mila's birthday fund instead. Boundaries, I realize, don't mean cutting people out. They mean defining the terms of love. That night, after Mila drifts to sleep, I sit at the kitchen table and open the journal Aunt Carol gave me for Christmas. My pen moves easily now. Real family isn't defined by blood, I write, but by the people who show up when it matters. My gaze lifts to the wall, our latest photo framed simply. Mila and me surrounded by Aunt Carol, Mrs. Wilson, James, and Uncle Robert. Laughter frozen in sunlight. Beneath it, a small wooden plaque reads, Our family. The house is quiet, except for Mila's soft, steady breathing. For the first time in years, I close my journal with a calm I recognize. This right here feels like home.